Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Elevate. My name is Jessica.
My name is Jarwin.
Welcome back. Today, we have the pleasure of having our very first guest here at our studio. We have Rosie Batista and Nick Laura. Thank you so much, guys, for coming.
Well, thank you for having us. We're so excited to be here.
Now, but wait, what's your intro? I want to hear the way you say it on Instagram.
Mi gente, la chata del pueblo.
I love it. Oh my God. Thank you guys again so much for being our first guest here. We are so excited to have them, you guys. They're such nice people, and I couldn't be happier to have them here.
For sure.
Oh my God. Oh no.
You're going to get to know us tonight.
Ooh, we have some fire coming. Okay, I like it, Picasso.
It's historical.
All right,
Babe is nervous. Are you nervous, babe?
Nah, just,
No, he's just as nervous as Nick. Look at them.
Because we're just the fillers. Like, we were talking about this, like...
Okay.
This is a Jessica and Rosie podcast.
Facts.
Welcome.
Because I know on your Instagram it says Chef Rose's cameraman.
Guy. Yeah.
So I'm Jessica's camera guy.
That's hilarious. I guess you guys have a lot in common.
Yeah, we do.
Okay. Maybe we can hang more often. Okay.
I like it.
All right. So I want you guys to tell us a little bit about yourself. Like, what do you guys do for a living, for those of you who don't know you? And why did you choose the career paths you guys chose?
Well, I'm going to begin. Is that okay with you?
Yes.
He's like, yeah.
Well, I am a content creator, and I'm a chef by profession. But you can find me on Instagram, cooking it up with my family. You know how it is. And as far as like picking that career, I honestly wanted to be a police officer.
Wow.
You did?
I did. I wanted to actually work for the FBI. But I know I would work my way up, becoming a cop first and then probably getting into the field. But cooking was always my passion. I always loved to cook as young as 13, 14. I remember Rachel Ray making a huge impression when I saw her on the Food Network. I was like, wait a minute, I like what she does. And I want to do that. And I remember my very first dish was mac and cheese, not from the box.
Okay.
It was like, from scratch. And it just took off. I met Nick, and cooking was always something that brought us together. We loved to go out to eat.
I'm sure he loved it.
Yeah.
Right?
It was nice. Because I was used to like home cooked meals from my mom, and Rosie
Right.
just kind of took over.
That's
Not like you're my mother, but
he was like, you can cook? And I was like, yeah, I can cook.
She was like, yes.
He was like, yep, she's a keeper.
Sign on the dotted line.
Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. I would have never thought you wanted to be a cop.
Yeah.
I can't even picture you being a cop, Rosie.
It's crazy.
Rosie's super street smart.
Yeah.
Like,
Really?
Yeah, like she has eagle eyes. She picks up on things fast.
That's amazing.
Like I can go to a place once and I know directions. I know it all. Like I'm just siempre grabando.
That's so great. So how about you, Nick?
So I'm a registered nurse. When I was in high school, I wanted to be a doctor because my mother was like forcing me, and I was talking to this girl about it. Sorry, Rose. I had like this little crush on her. She was like, "Why do you want to be a doctor? Just become a nurse." And I was like, "All right, fuck it, I'm gonna become a nurse." Excuse me for the cursing.
It's okay.
So then, like after high school, like I also ended up like working as an EMT for a little bit.
Okay.
And then getting my exposure into the medical field. I was meeting people, meeting nurses. I was like, "Do you like your job?" And I was like, "Yeah." So that's basically I went to nursing school, graduated. Out of school, I worked in the ED, and then I did some case management.
But you're not a nurse influencer.
No.
He's my personal nurse.
That comes in handy, Rosie.
Yeah. He also worked at Starbucks.
Oh, that was my favorite job of all
That was your favorite
time.
job.
Oh yeah, because you do you post your recipes are like coffee related.
I've seen it.
Yeah, yes, I would make lattes and stuff. That
I'm
was
like,
a lot
isn't
of
that
fun.
amazing? Like Rosie has her own Starbucks barista in her house.
He makes coffees every morning.
That's
Nice.
so
And they're
nice.
so good. Like
I can imagine.
And the best thing about coffee is like if you mess it up, you just make it again, and like people are super happy to get their coffee.
Yeah, for sure.
That's amazing. How did you guys meet?
Oh, I knew that was coming. So we actually met un 25 de diciembre.
Ustedes fueron el regalo de cada
25
uno.
de diciembre. We were at a club in Brooklyn.
Mm-hmm.
Él me vio y me dijo, esta rubia amiga.
Ay,
No,
no.
I'm kidding. He actually saw me that night, pero no me habló. He didn't approach me, but we did have mutual friends.
She was surrounded by a whole bunch of dudes. I was like,
Yeah, but I wasn't, ninguno de esos eran míos. Ninguno de esos, porque yo siempre he sido una mujer hecha y derecha. So, ninguno de esos eran para mí. Yo ni bailé esa noche. Because he watched me all night, he knew.
Una mujer seria.
Yeah, he reached out to me on Facebook.
After the fact.
Yeah, but he told me he was Cuban.
I did. I was trying to impress, be
Yeah,
a
he
little,
was, and I'm like,
be a little foreign.
I was like, I kept telling my sister, este tigre aquí tirándome, he's Cuban. I'm like, no, like,
This gets better.
It like super backfired because she only dates Dominicans.
yeah. Oh my gosh,
So
I
I was
can't.
like, okay, yo soy cubano de Santiago. Like,
Yeah, when he told me that, I'm like, pero Santiago, que Dominica, like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
And then when he told me, I was like, all right, we can go out on a date. So that went back and forth for like a week and a half.
Wow.
And my sister's like, well, maybe he's a nice guy. And I'm like, listen, Josie, you got to think long term.
Yeah.
You know, he's Cuban. I have to go to Cuba. Then my kids have to be split up. And I don't want that. Like,
That's
yo
right.
necesito
You
un
were
hombre de
always that-
Santiago. Que yo esté a 10 minutos de mi casa.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm
You were always that type to like be
Yeah.
looking for like your husband, right? I was like
Always.
that too.
always.
I never really dated anybody to just like date.
No, yeah.
And I also lied to her too. I was like, I said, we was what, like 16, 17? I made myself like 3 years older than her
Yeah, he
because I was
did.
like, if I'm a few months younger than her.
Yeah.
Oh,
So,
shoot.
but I'm like, if I say I'm younger than her, it's over.
Yep.
Because
he was right.
it was that age that you had to have an older boyfriend. And I was
Yeah,
like, nah.
It's true. And he nailed it because I did like to feel like I had an older boyfriend
For years.
How long did
For
you keep
years.
that up?
You said,
for
For
a
years.
long time.
oh my
Wow.
gosh.
It wasn't until like one day I was like hanging out with him, and for some reason I told you to take out your ID, and I saw 1990. I was like,
rip.
Oh my, I'm also a 90s baby. 1990.
I was like,
Excuse me?
espérate, aquí como que hay un fallo.
Ah.
Aquí como que los números no están calculando.
At that point, it was too late.
Yeah,
though.
ya,
That's
you
it.
estaban.
Yeah, I was already
So you guys were 16?
when we
Yeah.
met. Yeah.
Wow,
Wow.
that's beautiful. That's like a high school love story.
Yeah.
It
It
is.
wasn't smooth sailing
It
from
was,
the beginning.
it was
but
MySpace though.
Oh,
Mm.
You guys went into Facebook.
Yeah, we were
was
on Facebook.
So how old were you guys when you guys met each other?
I was 19.
I think it was
Okay.
21,
No,
22.
I was 20. I was 20. I had just turned 20.
Okay.
And
And you was
were
in the
22.
club? Oh yeah, 18
Yeah.
was legal.
18 was
Yeah.
legal, pero,
Okay.
pero muchachos, yo en Brooklyn, yo andaba todo eso. En esos tiempos
Yeah,
no era
back in
como
the
ahora.
day, yeah, it was so much easier. A lot of clubs were 18 and over.
Yeah.
For
For
women.
For women,
For
because
females.
we were very mature. That's why.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Just throwing
Don't
it
hate.
out there.
That's bullshit. Because then y'all would drink whatever the guys will buy. So
I'm not much of a drinker.
no, I'm saying, but
me either.
females back then will
We have
drink.
so much
at
in
18.
common,
Yeah,
Rosie.
you
I
know.
can't.
Yo iba a la discoteca y me bebí un verbo, una botella de agua, because I was always alert. Like if my friends were with me and they were drinking, I was probably driving.
Yeah,
So, and I was, I would go into a club and look at the closest exits to know, like, this is when
you was on FBI mode.
You were
FBI
the-
all the
yeah.
time. Cámara prendía.
You were the cautious friend.
Yeah.
I was
definitely
too. I was too.
Jessica,
Yeah.
we have so much in common.
I don't know. Like we're like,
We gotta go out for lunch.
I know.
Should we change the name of the podcast? Like hosted by
But with us, things kind of like happened really quickly. We
Yeah.
met at 20
Yeah.
and I had Haley at 21.
yeah.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
So 2 months into meeting each other,
Shots fired.
I was expecting Haley.
That was rough.
And that was very rough for us because we didn't know each other. I didn't even know he had a middle name.
Was you a nurse already by then or no?
No.
He was
no.
an EMT.
I was still trying to figure things out. So,
Mm.
It was
like
very
in
tough.
my mind, I was like, okay,
This girl's nuts.
And you guys
Yeah.
were,
He used to tell me
were
all the
still in
time, like,
Brooklyn?
You don't even know me.
we were still in Brooklyn, right? And she's like, because what happened was she has older siblings, and
Yeah, right.
she grew up around kids and
Yeah.
nieces and nephews, and she raised them. So that was perfectly normal for her. But I wasn't ready. You know what I mean? But
At what age did you think you was gonna have a child?
At 25.
Me
Okay.
too.
At
Oh my
25.
God. And it didn't
35.
happen at 25.
35?
For him, it was
35.
35.
For sure.
No,
Like Nick is like a
Wow.
long-term planner.
So you were like freaking out probably.
Oh yeah,
Oh my God.
freaking out. And I just remember when I was around 2 months pregnant, he's like, okay, you have to move in with me.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? So that took me
I-
like a month to
Yeah.
like figure things out and moving in with a stranger. But his family, they welcomed me with open arms. Everyone, his
That's
parents, his
amazing.
sister,
That's a blessing, actually.
cousins, they were really nice.
That's
good.
a real blessing. Like, God bless.
Thank you.
You guys were actually meant to be because the way you guys are.
Ay, espérate. No lo pinta bonito. No lo pinta tan bonito.
no,
because
no.
like every couple, we did struggle with a lot
Yeah.
of things.
Yeah.
We were very young.
Yeah.
He had dreams and ambitions and
Yeah.
things that he wanted to accomplish. And having a baby is no joke.
Yeah.
I mean, but that just makes me want to really congratulate you
Thank you.
for really taking on the role that you weren't even prepared for. Like, can we get a round of applause for that? Thanks.
Thank you.
That really says the kind of person that you are and the values that you have as a person.
Well,
Because many men would have ran.
Yep.
You know, so
Oh my God, that's
Thank
making me,
you.
like choke up because that you guys have no idea. That just made me fall more in love with him.
absolutely. I mean, he was there even though that wasn't the time that he planned it to be.
Did you always have a father figure growing up?
Yeah, so I was gonna tell her like we have like similar core values,
Mhm.
you know, with the mom and dad in the house, and so it was like a no brainer. That's why I was like, my kid is not gonna be in the street,
Yeah.
you know. So
That's amazing, guys.
I respect it. I always say the same thing. I posted it on social media too because my father and me didn't really click. So like when Armani was born, I was like, there's no way. Like I'm just gonna be a deadbeat dad. Like,
Right.
and yeah, we're here now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in his case, it was more like he didn't want to be like his dad.
Yeah.
So that's what makes him a great dad.
Mhm.
In your case, you had a father figure and you wanted to continue
Oh my
that.
gosh.
yeah.
Oh,
This shit is real. We told you it was
Oh
gonna
my
get
gosh.
real.
Like I couldn't hold it. I was just like,
It's okay. It's okay. Listen.
it's
It's
like
a-
when we speak about it, we talk about it. It's different when we're sharing
Yeah.
it with other people because it's like, oh my God, we really went through this.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
And
hard.
Here we are.
That is hard. And you guys
Glory
have
to
come
God.
a long way. I mean, the guys, the moves you guys are doing is amazing to watch. You guys, it's just amazing to see you guys on social media. I'm sure it's even better in real life because we get to see just little glimpse. And I can see that you guys actually work as a team. So
So I did want to highlight that. Like a lot of what you see, that's just our normal.
Yeah.
Like that's
Yeah, that's our
that's what
real
we do.
life.
I can feel it.
We just
Yeah.
put on a camera. Like vamos a prender la cámara and let's just record a little bit. Like my kids are exactly what you see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My house sometimes is a mess, like you see.
Yeah.
Like, and Nick is just silly sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, let's just.
I
turn
think
on the
that's why
camera.
we truly connected because you can tell when somebody's fake, when somebody's
Yeah.
faking it for social media. And the purpose of this podcast was to do things like this because there's people that will paint the picture online like, oh, I'm all happy. And then they can't
Behind
keep up.
yeah.
So after a few years, it's like, wait a minute, I thought you was happy and this was good.
Yeah.
So definitely wanted to bring
There's
you
a lot
guys
of
on.
We
fakeness.
spoke about happiness being that feeling that you can't like keep forever. Like you have to have different type of feelings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you can't be happy all the time. That's
Mhm.
impossible.
Yeah.
You
it
have to be
is.
sad. You have to be jealous. You have
Yeah.
to. It's there are feelings. That's
Right.
what they are. And
We're
you have to-
human.
yeah.
It's just how do you navigate through those emotions that really counts because everybody goes through them.
Mhm.
But how do you navigate when you're down in the trenches and you want to friggin' kill your husband because they're annoying you, you know? Like, how do you handle that? That's what makes the marriage great,
Yep.
you know? It's not that is rainbows and butterflies
No.
all the time. Like, you guys are not going to agree all the time on everything. But the fact that you guys have enough respect to sit down and talk about these problems and just respect each other's opinions and not, if you're mad at the other person, not do something that you're gonna regret for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Like you have to
Even as
Kudos to
simple.
Rosie on that one though. Like she was always like the more sober head, especially early on. Like
yeah.
I've not tried to walk away, but I was trying to
Yeah, I
distance
would-
myself a few
young.
times, and she would just
Young.
pull me in, and I'm glad that she stuck it through.
I was
That's
like, oh
amazing.
no, my daughter needs a father. Like,
That's great.
let's talk. Let's try it out. Let's do therapy. Let's do whatever we need to do. And I feel like that our generation now, we don't have that.
Yeah. Yeah. Most of our generation walks away very
Yeah.
easily.
Oh, it doesn't work out. Oh, tú no me vas a hacer esto. Adiós.
Yeah.
Like, wait a
No.
minute.
You have to really think about it. I mean,
You know?
especially sometimes you have a very good person next to you, and just because they mess up once or they do something very petty that you
Yeah.
don't like constantly, like that doesn't mean you walk away from the person. That's what a real relationship and marriage is about. It's about working through the problems.
Right. Mira, ni por ejemplo, the hamper could be right there y me tira la vaina en el piso. And what am I going to do?
Yeah.
So
Yo
we
agarro y
do-
se los recojo.
That's what
no,
I
but-
do.
Mira,
Right
mira,
next to
mira,
that, so
mira.
Yo agarro y
yeah.
se los recojo because there are other things that he does for me.
Right.
But one
That
thing-
compensate.
Yeah.
we're technically not married though.
We're not married.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
Okay.
we've been together for a long time, and
We're
at
not
this point,
married.
it's just awkward. You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah, like most of our friends are married, family members. And
Well, you guys act like you guys are. You
guys are married.
Yeah. I mean, there's people who are legally married, and
like I have people even during like Semana Santa where they're telling me like, oh, you're religious and that, but you guys are not even married. And I'm like, yache, pero ustedes no dejan pasar una.
But there's people that's married and they're worse than
Yeah.
than people that are not.
That's what
So,
I'm saying. I'm like, some people have that paper and
Some
It's like
people,
if
you
they
know, the
don't.
problem is some people do it because they want to throw the lavish wedding and have the nice pictures.
Well, that's the reason I don't want to do it.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Like,
Like
that's
why? Why
yeah.
waste that money? That's how you feel?
the money and just like if I were to do something to be very intimate, like 30 of us,
Yeah.
40 of us, that's it. And then I don't want to like other people to feel offended,
Yeah.
but
It
you
is
know,
what it is.
it's just us. Like I'm cool with that. But Rosie, I imagine every girl wants a big wedding.
Yeah.
I don't know if I want a big wedding anymore. Like I think at the very beginning I
She wants a
did.
big wedding.
Okay.
I wanted a big wedding, but I think we've been through so much where I just want the closest people who've been there since day
Yeah.
one with us to be a part of
I think
something
the
intimate.
older you get, the more you think that way.
Y lo
'Cause-
cuarto también.
Yeah. I mean, and the older you get, you start having like new goals, and it's like you start overthinking. Like,
¿Tú sabes los planes que yo tengo que hacer? Pa' yo, mira, la pestaña quemándose para yo gastar en una boda en un día. Par de horas. Ay, no, hay que pensarlo.
No, and also when you get married young, it's like you know so much people, and you're just like, no, this person got to come, their parents got to come.
yeah.
But as you get older,
Yeah.
you're like, wait a minute, like I know this person, but I don't really fuck with them like I used to. So you're like, nah, you don't get an invite, and
You
that's
start
why
to value real, true friendships and family.
Yeah.
You start to value it, to see the value in it more. Because when you're younger, you're more like, everybody's my friend, you know,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
everybody, you know, everybody's invited. Like, no, everybody's not invited.
Yeah.
So how long were you guys together when you got married?
So we met when we were 16. We got married when we were 26.
But we was engaged for a while, like 4 or 5 years, right?
Yeah, we got engaged when we were 21.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
you knew.
Wow. Yeah.
We were 21, but we weren't ready for a wedding. He
Yeah.
wanted to propose. He proposed, but we weren't ready to throw a wedding. So
Yeah.
that's why it lasted so long for us to do anything.
You guys had a big
Big wedding?
For
Somewhat.
what we can afford, yeah,
It was yeah.
wedding.
Yeah. But I can definitely say, like, we didn't go beyond our means.
Yeah.
Like,
That's
nobody,
important.
you know, we didn't want to go into debt for a
Yeah.
wedding. Like, that's.
Have a headache the next day. Who wants
Yeah,
that?
no. Like, once it's over, it's over. We didn't want to have that, like, pending.
Yeah.
You know, like, we already, the night is already over and we're still owing money from this. Like, we didn't want to do that. So,
And I would hear those horror stories growing up. Like people would get married, you know, you eavesdropping the adults. They're like have like this crazy bill. They have all this money they had to pay back. And I'm like, ooh.
You know
Yeah.
what's a funny story? I went to a wedding and the groom looked so worried. Y yo entre mí, bueno, yo sé de dónde viene esa preocupación
Yeah.
because it was a huge wedding.
yeah. So,
And I was like, I don't want that.
yeah, no.
Yeah.
You don't want something that you're then going to worry over. Like,
Yeah,
that's
you-
so important to us to, like, be happy.
Yeah.
You know, like, you don't want extra burden on top of what life already gives you.
Facts.
If you can afford it, then go for
Right.
it.
Well, yeah,
Right.
by all
But
means.
if you're like squeezing yourself just because you want a picture for the gram,
Yeah, no.
don't
Sorry,
do it.
guys. We're not. It's not happening. We'll get married when we're ready.
Yeah.
So, okay, back to you, Chef Rose, la chef del pueblo. I know you went to school for,
Hospitality management.
okay, when did you decide that you wanted to, like, make it like a social media kind of chef? You know, like, how did that come about?
Whose idea was it?
So check this out. When I went back to school, I actually went back for nursing.
Oh, what?
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went for nursing. I went and took all the prereqs that I needed. And right before taking chemistry, I was like, it's not sitting well. It's not sitting right. This is not like, yo nunca trabajado en un hospital. I've never been in that kind of setting. This is just not for me. So I went to City Tech in Brooklyn and they had a hospitality management department. So I went there, you know, just to walk around.
Yeah.
Everybody was so nice and so hospitable. And I was like, espérate, let me just ask around. I got home and I told them, I'm switching. And I switched over. And that's what I did.
just felt it.
I felt it. When I walked into the department, I just felt like I needed to be part of it. And that's
But
exactly what I
did
did.
they teach you how to? You already knew how to cook, or had a passion for cooking, or
I had a passion for cooking, but when you go to school, they teach you French culinary,
okay?
like art. So they teach you how to you know, make sauces and all that. They don't teach you how to cook our type
Yeah.
of food.
Okay.
So what I
No
learned
adobo.
there and what I learned at home, I combined it. I made a fusion. And that's what that was.
And now we have Chef Rose.
And I,
You're welcome, guys.
So when did you transition into social media?
so with social media, I would say when I was expecting Chase.
Okay.
I was working at the Department of Ed as a paraprofessional.
Okay.
And
I gotta write these like professions down because
it's like a teacher's assistant. But it was a lot going on. I was in school full time, I was working full time, and I was expecting a baby. And Nick is like, it's impossible to do all of that.
Yeah.
Like it's you can't, you can do it, but it's gonna be so much more harder. So I decided to stop working. And that was the first time in my life since I was 13 that I wasn't working. And it took a couple of months and I was like, me estoy viendo loca.
Yeah.
was Chase unexpected too?
No, we planned Chase.
Okay.
Haley was already 7 and we were like,
Yeah, we need to make.
clock is ticking. I was like, I'm not having any more kids after 30.
Yeah.
So we have to make this happen. So yeah, I was, 8, 9 months pregnant with Chase and I was in school. I was there, La Única, but I was a lot older than the other kids. I was 28 at the time.
She was pregnant with Formani. She was in college.
Yeah.
It was kind of weird a little bit. Like for me, it was weird, but then everyone always looked at me for advice because I was older.
Yeah.
Kids were 20, I was 28.
I was with Armani, I was 23. But so what? Like one day you just decided to like
I looked into affiliate marketing on Amazon.
Okay.
And I took a course at the time. I remember we paid for a course. I learned it and I spent an entire summer learning what it was to sell on Amazon, how to sell. And I decided that I was going to sell loofahs on Amazon. You remember that?
Yeah.
And Nick is like, loofahs? And
What's loofahs for the people that don't know what it is?
like, poja que tú usas para bañarte.
A
Like,
sponge.
and I'm like, everybody needs this. And you got to change it like every 3 months. So there's always going to be a demand for this. And then Nick is like, loofahs? What made you think about loofahs? I was like, lightweight. You don't have to pay too much on shipping. I had it all calculated. I was like, I can ship like a large quantity and it's not going to be heavy. It's not going to cost us an arm and a leg. We're going to make profit. Order from China. Yo lo tenía todo calculado. Nick is like, well, Rose, pero a ti te gusta cocinar. It was always him.
Oh,
It was always him.
The camera guy.
The camera guy. The camera guy. He was like, I think, y él me regaló una camera at the time, una Canon Blanca.
Yeah. M50.
M50 Canon. And it was history from there.
So he pushed you to
He
do
did.
it.
He's always pushed me to do it. He pushed me to go to school. He's always pushed me to become a better person.
So what was your first video related to cooking? Because your name is Chef Rose Batista, right?
Mhm.
Was that initially like that was the name you went with, or you transitioned the name?
So I think at the time we had a different brand. It wasn't my name. It was
Okay.
Archie Shop.
It was what?
Archie Shop.
Okay.
And I was selling aprons. I was selling handmade spatulas.
So you've been doing this for a while.
Yeah.
Rosie's a hustler, man.
She's
like, she
a-
credits
she's
me,
an
but
expert,
she's a real
level
hustler.
expert.
No, your
Listen,
affiliate
I was
marketing is a
trying
point.
to-
I'd be
yeah.
like, damn, I need to like.
Make some money. I was
Yeah.
not going to be home. Y estaba mantenida de nadie. As much as I loved him, and he always told me not to worry about it.
I just plant like little seeds, but she just runs with
Yeah.
stuff. I'm
Hey,
like,
man,
oh,
it's
look
only
this
there.
way, and she'll go that way, and she's gone.
I'm running with it. And he's like, Rose, hold on. I was just, ya yo estoy calculando cómo lo voy a hacer, like, what I got to order, what I got to do, how I'm going to put it together. And he's like, Rose, it was just me saying something out
Just an
loud.
idea. I just threw an
I was like,
idea.
mañana mismo lo hagamos.
So your first video was cooking or showing that you were selling products?
I was selling products.
Okay. And then it turned into like a cooking.
And then I was
Like
cooking at home with
recipes.
Haley. Haley always been in cooking school since she was like 4 or 5.
In cooking school?
Yep.
Yeah.
She's still in cooking school?
Not currently. Now she's
Okay.
into theater. So, kids change.
Okay, okay.
But she still knows how to cook. She'll make dinner for
Oh.
Chase. She
That's amazing.
I think it's a life skill that she's going to thank me for
props
later.
to
in life.
Haley.
Yeah. And then, a little backstory with Haley. She had like this terrible, terrible accident when she was a baby. She was about 13 months old, January 1st, 2012.
Yeah.
So she had just turned a year and she was in the kitchen and this pot of boiling hot water fell on her. She had 3rd-degree burns. She had to go to surgery and a whole bunch of stuff. She's the most amazing little girl I know.
Me too, actually. My whole
too?
foot is
What happened
burned.
to
Yeah.
Oh, really?
When I was 1,
Wow.
my uncle was carrying like a pot of boiling water, and I guess they say I pushed him or something. Obviously, I don't remember. I was 1, and it dropped on my foot, so my whole foot is burned. Yeah, I had like
So how
4 or
like
5 surgeries.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
was it
intense.
her whole body or what?
It's most of her chest
Oh my God.
and her arm. Like it's very visible. You
Yeah.
can see the scars. But my thing is, and she's right back in the kitchen.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
doesn't stop
Very
her.
resilient.
Very
Very.
resilient.
How old was she?
She was 1 and 4 months. something
Okay.
like that.
Shout out Haley.
Yes.
My girl.
You 2 Darwin burn survivors.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. That's so you can see how resilient
Yeah.
kids are. Like
Yeah.
they're so strong.
We've
It's
never really spoken openly about Haley's
well, thank you for
injuries.
sharing that with us.
I can
It's
cut
okay.
it if you don't feel comfortable.
No, it's
Okay.
just that we were so young.
Yeah.
And it was a very difficult, dark time in our lives. And I think
I
that's
could
something
imagine.
else that
Yeah.
brought us together, where we were there for each other. I mean, we were so young.
Yeah.
You know, is that these things, when you go through hardship like that and hard times with a person and that person is there for you, that just creates such a stronger bond. Because it's very easy to be with a person when things are going right. But it's very difficult to be with someone when you're going through hard times. You know, to have someone that stays there, even when they're not feeling great about what's going on. That's the real test.
Mhm. 2 weeks in the ICU.
She's preaching.
That is the
Tell
real
you.
test. Hard times is the real test between relationships, like loving relationships and even friendships.
Yeah.
Because it's very easy to be with someone.
It's very happy. It's very cool to just be outside clubbing and
Yeah.
traveling and like,
Yeah.
oh, I visited 20 different countries, and I'm like, okay, but are you actually happy? Like,
Mhm.
can you sit down and have a conversation with your wife or your husband? If you can't, then what's the purpose? Like, what are you doing?
What is
Yeah.
happiness?
Like, are you friends or are you in a relationship?
What are we?
Muchacho, Dio. There's definitely a lot of communication. I think the older we got,
Mhm.
Yeah.
we became a little more clear of like what we wanted to do and how we wanted to live our lives and como que queríamos llegar, viejito, like where we wanted to see ourselves then. And then things just started lining up, and here we are.
And things change too. Like, you can be, sometimes you have dreams and you're like, wait a minute, I don't think we want that no more. Let's switch it up. But that's the importance of communication, because if you don't talk to each other and you're like, you over here thinking like, I want to move to Arizona, and Nick is like, nah, I want to move to Florida.
Yeah.
Like, so where are we meeting at? And there's a lot of couples like that they can't agree on something.
Right. But I think their core values are so similar that they can move past maybe little things that they might not see eye to eye on,
Yeah, for
because
sure.
their core values, such as like parenting, are
Mhm.
very similar.
Yeah.
So
Ish. He's very liberal.
Yeah.
Nick es muy liberal.
yeah.
Si tú lo ves así, pero he's very
Nick el
liberal.
liberal.
Yeah.
He liked the kids to explore and be able to test different things and try different sports and see what it is that they like. Yeah, si fuera por ahí, mira.
That's good
They're
though,
all
because
over the
growing up,
place.
there was parents that was like, you're going to play baseball, especially the Dominican parents. You're going to play baseball and that's what you're going to do. No
Yeah.
basketball, no football. Aquí no se juega eso. Like,
Dominó. Dominó el béisbol.
Exactly.
Ya, de ahí no pasaba.
but that's bad because, for example, with my son, he's like obsessed with baseball right now.
Okay, cool.
But I always loved baseball, but I never pushed it on him. I was like, I will never push it on him. And one day he was watching a game and it was like ninth inning, tied 2 outs, and the Yankees won. And like after that day, it's like over.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
literally.
That's
He's
so cool.
obsessed, like 24/7. This kid is on baseball. We put him in classes and all that now, but now I'm like, I'm
What's his
excited.
favorite team? The Yankees?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
How old is he?
He's 9 now.
Yeah.
That's great.
Like I never wanted to. He wanted to play basketball, and I never liked basketball. But I was
I
like,
love
okay,
basketball.
We love
Yeah.
basketball.
Yeah.
So like now that he loves baseball, I'm like, oh shit, okay.
That's
Yeah.
cool. I don't know. We should probably get into baseball. Chase plays too, but
You play softball though. I seen.
Yeah, he
I play
plays softball, but
he
I
can't
played
sit down
softball
and
for the
watch
past 10 years. I
baseball
can't watch
game.
baseball, but I love playing.
Oh.
softball.
I love playing.
Yeah, I love
Yeah.
playing
watching
softball.
basketball. It's similar because I watched the Knicks game like randomly on TV one time. We just sat down and watched it, and it came down into
was
like
very early
overtime, and it was like they won by 2 points, and it was like I was hooked after that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was expecting Haley when that happened. It was
Yeah.
very early on, and we watched that first game together, and basketball fans since.
Yeah.
And our kids love basketball now too. So
Oh, that's
Yeah.
great.
pretty cool.
That's great. Okay, so let's talk about house chores.
Oh,
Mhm.
This is getting real
guys-
spicy.
How do you guys, as a couple, deal with the chores? Like, do you guys actually work as a team when it comes to chores, or is it more like you just take over because you can't be dealing with telling people what to do all the time? Sometimes that happens, Whereas, like, we want.
You answer that.
Well,
I'm gonna let him answer.
Rosie has this little story that during the pandemic, I was forced to be home, right, and work from home, and I started to see just how much goes into maintaining a home.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, I think it was a eye opener for a lot of people.
I would just get home and everything was like in its place. I was like,
Okay.
You know,
Nice.
it
Great
really
job,
was
babe.
like that. And then lately, I was just like, okay, you know, like I can't expect Rosie to be intimate with me if like the dishes aren't done or this
Yeah,
needs
that's
to
not
get
gonna
done.
work.
So
Like if my mind is not, if my peace and sanity is not there, we're not doing anything.
Yeah.
Like the bathroom needs to be clean, the dishes have to be put away. That's
it
just the
kind of
way I
started
work.
that way. It was like, okay, if I want to be intimate with Rosie, I got to do my chores.
Yeah.
And besides that, I think that he also saw like even food shopping. I would go to 3 different supermarkets.
Crazy.
Because él le gustaba go to Trader Joe's, Haley le gustaba los cold cuts to Stop and Shop, y en ninguno de esos venden plátano. So now I gotta go to Seatown.
Wow.
And
Rosie's
he would,
the Energizer
That's
bunny,
a
bro.
lot.
he would drive around with me, and on his days off, he would be like, "La semana, pero the laundry has to get done." At the time of the pandemic, we were mopping with Clorox 24/7. Tu salía, entraba y era así. So yeah, I think that once he saw that, he was like, "Wait a minute, we have to kind of like divvy up everything and help each other out."
I think a lot of couples are going to relate to that, because it's true. Like sometimes for men, they don't realize how much it bothers us to just go to sleep with like a messy house.
No, that's not gonna work.
Like, and then if we have so many things in our minds, like where in our head do you think we're going to have the space to want to be loving?
No,
Like,
or
it just
sexual or
doesn't
intimate.
work.
No.
And us females, we're more, we work with our emotions when it comes to that. Like we can't just, pues vamos. It
Take
doesn't
notes.
work that
Toma.
way. It doesn't work
She
that
says that all
way.
the time.
Yeah, I'm like, no, it doesn't.
Take notes, guys.
Y eso es el día entero, mi amor, que tú necesitas. Like, you gotta be nice to us. Like,
Sóbame pelo un ching.
it's
I'm
just
just like,
Take me out to eat.
yes, talk to me nice. And then, in the
Yeah.
nighttime, maybe get a little
Right.
fun.
Sometimes even like when I have things pending, yo me pongo como frantic. And Nick
Yeah.
is like, mi amor, there's nothing you need. Ya Dios te tiene todo escrito. Like whatever is going to happen is going to happen. Ahora vamos lo que venimos. And I'm like, no. Así no tampoco. But it be like that sometimes. Like,
yeah. Take notes, guys. If you want to have a serious relationship and have it last and actually work, you have to compromise. You
Yep.
have to listen to the other person.
I mean,
It's
we
not
have
just
20 years of experience. We look
Yeah.
young, but between
yeah, for real.
aquí hay 20 años. And like, I support things that he does. Like he likes to have softball games on
Yeah.
Sundays. Sundays, I'm up at 6 a.m. packing the kids' lunch, packing them up. We're going to Daddy's game. And that's been like that since,
for 10 years.
yeah,
more or
for
less,
10
yeah.
years. He used to
That's
play with the
great.
hospital. And
Nice.
Yes, that's very important to know. That it's not just the man that needs to accommodate himself
Yeah.
for the woman. We also need to do our part and support them in what makes them happy.
yeah, yo me puedo quedar en mi casa on Sundays
Yeah.
with the kids, but I choose to be with him
course.
every Sunday.
Like
As
my team
from-
of guys, like maybe 2 wives show up,
Yep.
you know?
Yeah.
And they're like, yo, tú eres fija. And I'm like, every day.
Yeah.
For every season, I'm going to be here with him.
Absolutely. Oh, can we get a round of applause for that, please?
It's not all sunshine and
No,
rainbows,
it's
though.
not. Don't.
No, but it's beautiful. It's
Yeah.
perfect for you guys. You make it work.
Yeah. Like
And-
we argue like normal couples,
Yeah.
but we have a rule that I can't take out that black bag. And a black bag to me is a black duffel bag that means I'm leaving the house.
Yeah.
Like I've told him that since day one. Ese juego de I'm leaving, I'm coming
Yeah.
back, it's never gonna work.
Yeah.
So I've never left the house and I don't plan to.
Okay, just
So,
letting you know.
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't plan to, but y nunca no hemos faltado respeto in a way where he's said something,
Yeah.
cruel to me where it's no.
Key. That's key.
Yeah. Because I feel like when la gente, couples argue sometimes, they say, oh, you're a bee.
Yes.
Or, I'm like, whoa. Like,
Yeah.
Right. That is not okay.
no, it's not okay because
not.
you can never, I feel like you can't come back from that.
You
Like,
can't. You
How can you
can't.
disrespect me like that? I'm
Right.
your lady.
Right.
And we have a daughter.
Right. And especially with kids around,
Yeah.
shame on you.
Yeah.
Honestly. It doesn't matter how upset you are about something. Walk away, take
Yeah.
a breather, take a walk, but never disrespect your partner in that way because it's just something, it's so degrading. It's not helpful. How is that going to help?
It stays with your partner, but it also stays with your kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It stays with them. And it hurts in ways where later in life, no son cosas que no se puede
All
arreglar.
kids are going to have trauma regardless,
Yeah.
but
Right.
like that's a big one.
Yeah.
As
Right.
parents, it is our job to provide them with the best and give them the best and just try to guide them the best that we
Right.
can.
Right. Give them that example
Mhm.
that they would want to look for in a partner when they grow up. Because then who are you to be telling your child, oh, no, I don't like that person for you, when you and your household were killing yourself with your husband or your wife. It doesn't work that way. We have to try to be the best. We're not perfect. Nobody is. No parent is perfect. But when you're wrong, say sorry. When you know, work things out, talk things out with your partner so that your kids see that there's communication, and that's the way that adult relationship should work.
Yep, absolutely. Tú tienes a niña ahí que no me abre la puerta de carro, pero a Haley sí. He's teaching her.
I'm still working with that too.
How how a man is supposed to treat a lady.
Yeah. I tell my husband all the time, I'm like, you know what? He remembers sometimes. Sometimes he forgets. I don't blame him too much because we didn't grow up with those like things. But I have told him, like, it's very nice. You know how beautiful it is to see a man open his door for his lady? Like that little gesture.
Yeah. He opens it for his lady.
I do.
Open it for both ladies.
No, I'm okay with that because, again, Haley está viendo que así es que se trata una mujer.
Yeah.
So she'll look for that in a
It
guy.
makes you happy, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I open it for Chase. So we're even.
Now, question: when Rosie is doing a new recipe, and you don't like it,
I don't like chicken feet. I think that's how.
Oh no, we established that on social.
I got something for you coming. Don't worry, because I love chicken feet.
I'm not a fan of that either.
Oh, come on.
But have you ever had recipes that you're like, nah, babe, this is just not gonna
I tell her
work?
straight up
All the time.
Straight up.
All the time. Right there, I can see it in his face. Like he can't even hide it.
No.
Él me dice a mí, bueno. I'm like, thank God I'm testing with you. So I test with him first, and with the kids. The kids are very honest.
Oh, I'm sure they are. Kids are always honest.
Yeah.
Zero filter.
Yep.
Rosie's a little more, I'd say, professional about her stuff, but I wear my emotions on my sleeve. So if I don't like something or something's up, I'm telling her right away.
So people usually see your recipes online, and sometimes you sell them and all that. How does people think you just like, oh, throw things in a pot and it's just like ready to go? How many times do you feel like you need to cook a recipe to be like, this is the one that I'm gonna share with my people?
So I'm a little familiar with like spices and flavors. So maybe 2 to 3 times.
Okay.
And then I tweak it to try to make it my own because everybody has their way of cooking. And como dicen, la cocina es tuya. Tú haces lo que tú quieras en tu cocina. So I maybe 2 to 3 times at most.
Well, I thank you for trying that many times because, I watch your videos and you've inspired me many times.
Thank you.
And I'm like, yes, I have something to cook tonight.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I love it. I love to see the videos because unlike you, I was never a fan of cooking. But now that I'm, a lot older and my kids are older as well, when they're little, they're so picky or they're eating baby food. Now I'm more into like wanting to learn new things. And you're one of the chefs that I follow on social that helps me with what.
And you're still selling your recipes, right?
So I what do you mean by selling my recipe?
Because I know you did the pernil one, right? With your mom. Then you saw like an ebook.
Oh, so no, again, that was me testing out different waters. Okay. I was trying to make it like into a course, but yeah, that's something that we didn't follow. Yeah, kind of fell through. But
I was about to say like, plug it for this.
No, I think that what drives me more to do what I do is just showing people that there is a easy way to make a home cooked meal. Like you don't have to have a whole feast and feel like you're going to spend 8 hours in the kitchen to give your family a healthy or warm meal. You can do something quick and easy.
That's what I appreciate. That's what I appreciate because I always feel like I don't have time to have to spend so much.
Sacala.
Right. And so when I see it on your video, it looks so simple that it motivates me to do it. I'm like, oh, that was like 1, 2, 3. Okay, I got this.
Went to Trader Joe's because of you. So sponsor this woman.
Trader Joe's.
That's crazy.
Trader Joe's is a nice spot though.
Yeah,
it is.
They
have good products.
And I feel like their prices are like unbeatable.
I was confused when I got there. I'm like, but because everything is like Trader Joe's. It's not like different brands. No. Like they are the brand.
There is no middleman.
Yeah.
So the price is set. Like they control their own prices, which is something I love.
Yes. Amazing. Let's change the topic a little bit. Let's talk about when you decided to do a rhinoplasty.
Ooh.
Okay. What really made you do that? What were you feeling that it drove you to do that?
So I was bullied as a kid from my siblings.
Okay.
So let's put that out there.
So what's a rhinoplasty? Because some people might be like...
So a rhinoplasty is a nose job.
Yeah.
So lo que hacen es que te rompen la nariz
Yeah.
y te la ponen como tú quieras.
Yeah, depending on what it is that you want to fix.
Alguna
with
gente tiene un dorsal hump aquí.
Mhm.
Some people just have like big like tip.
Mhm.
So my doctor, he's the best, Dr. Reich, by the way.
He did an amazing
shout
job.
out
Shout
to
out.
him. He is bomb. So if you're ever thinking about doing something, check him out. He just knew. He saw me. We did a conference over. It was a FaceTime. I'm sorry.
Okay.
And he just knew what he was going to do right away. And I had followed him. We did research for a long time.
How was that recovery?
For me, it was a little harder.
Yeah.
Because I'm a mom.
Mhm.
And
It's like you felt like you had no downtime, but
I needed to have downtime.
Mhm.
And I had it because I had all the support and help from everyone.
And the meds.
And the meds. Oh, we're going to get into the meds. Those meds were something else.
I remember.
But I still wanted to like be active in my kids. Like, oh, did Haley eat? Did she shower? But I knew like he was there. His mom was there. My mom was there. Everyone was there. Me just being a mom.
yeah.
So it was a little longer for me. For sure.
So you did it too.
Yeah, with Dr. Reich.
No. But before we get there, okay, you did a video, sir, where you expressed she was selfish for doing this.
Yes.
Why
Yes, baby.
did you feel that way at that moment?
So, I don't know how personal I want to, like, with your family or, like, it was something that was more, like, her side of the family had done procedures before.
Yeah.
Okay.
So she was, like, more used to these things. My family had never, any of us
Okay.
had done anything. And, you know, I had, like, a little more of a conservative view when it came to that. And I
Okay.
was like, well, God made you perfectly. Like, why would you change anything? That kind of stuff. But then, like, I saw the confidence that it gave her. And I was like, "Ooh, I want to feel that way."
Yeah, he was like, espérate.
And did my sister do something before me or
Yeah, she did it before you. She got implants.
so my
Okay.
sister got breast augmentation. So at that point, it just kind of became norm.
Yeah, you were like, oh, this isn't that
But
bad.
he was worried about something happening to me.
I'm sure.
And he
I'm
was like, you know,
sure.
you're thinking about your happiness, but what about us? Like, what if
Yeah.
something happens to you? I'm left, without you.
And
the kids.
just a side comment, like these are the times, especially like in our 30s, where we have the ability and the time to maybe invest in ourselves.
Yeah.
That
Right.
you know what I mean? Like
That's kind of like the lead up question. Like after you guys both did it, which you don't regret, right?
No.
How important is like self help and like boosting your self esteem? Like how much did it help you?
Self-image.
Guys, it was 10 years of me battling with that. Back and
Wow.
forth. Like, when I met him, I told him about it. But there were always things that are more important.
Mhm.
Oh, nosotros tengamos que guardar para esto, tengamos que guardar para esto, tengamos que guardar para la escuela. It was always something.
Mhm.
Until I just told him, I'm freaking unhappy.
Yeah,
Like,
enough
I'm
is
not
enough.
happy at all.
Mhm.
Yo no quiero breast, yo no quiero nada. Yo lo que quiero mi nariz. Like, that's
Mhm.
all I wanted. And he was like, pues hazlo entonces.
Yeah.
And
I'm
then,
talking about the wisdom between us, like early on, like the youngins might invest in like a chain or a
Yeah.
car
Yeah.
or whatever. Like invest in yourself, man.
Yep.
Like,
For sure.
invest
Yeah.
in your brain. Like,
That is the best
That's
thing you can
something
invest in.
that
Absolutely.
no one can take from you.
Mhm.
No one can take that from you.
Absolutely.
Knowledge.
I say it all the time. When it comes to cosmetic surgery, like I have nothing against them because I do understand that some people do them for the wrong reasons. And I think the first and foremost, you have to like really assess why you're getting it done. And for you, it wasn't about anybody else. It was you were truly unhappy with yourself and the way your nose looked. And you knew there was something to fix it.
mhm.
And you got it done. Y ya, se resolvió el problema.
Yeah.
But
And I've been so
sometimes-
happy ever since.
That's amazing. And I'm very happy for you. You
Thank
look
you.
great. You look, to me, you looked great before, but you still look beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So, but what matters is that you feel beautiful.
You look
Yeah.
beautiful.
You're the
too, man.
one.
She had her eyelashes done. I need to get mine done too now.
Oh my God, my brows. I just got them done. Oh, you did?
But low key, I was worried though when Rosie did her procedure because I'm telling you that confidence boost. I was like,
No,
she
about the
gonna
high.
leave me?
Really?
Yeah,
I know.
no, it did cross my mind for real.
He was like, I
Wow.
gotta get my shit done because if not,
Wow.
Facts.
Oh my God.
That's funny. Las cosas que le pasan por la cabeza a uno, you know. But those type of things are the type of things that sometimes make men so controlling over their women.
Oh,
yeah.
You know? That's like a whole nother topic.
Yeah.
And that might have been the point too where I was against it too, to be honest.
Because you were a little afraid.
Yeah. Maybe like subconsciously.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
but
But
you,
look.
you,
She's here.
Hey.
I'm not going
More
anywhere.
beautiful than ever, more
Hey,
confident
yeah.
than ever.
Not going
anywhere.
And she's right next to you.
how was, we talk about cancel culture, right? How was feeling the
The
wrath?
judgment. Yeah, because
of Instagram.
Nick got some judgment after he got his nose done.
I mean, I'm not on it like her. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
he's not really
I
on
kind
it
of
like
dodge
that.
it in that sense.
It didn't really
honestly.
affect you.
Yeah.
Yeah, because sometimes people can be a little.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
people. I feel like people think you can't change your mind.
Right.
Like, okay, he thought about that, and then something happened, and he liked it. He changed his mind. Like, what's the problem?
Yeah.
For my social media people, it's okay to not agree with something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Keep swiping.
Right.
You don't have to put a negative comment. You don't have to make someone feel bad because that says a lot about you.
It does.
Like, no, vete a buscar de Dios mejor. Go read the Bible.
Yes, absolutely.
Like, that's all you need to do. Deja la gente que vivan, que sea tranquila. There's so many things on Instagram that I'd be like, oh my God.
Me too.
Yeah.
I just keep going.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Me too.
You live your life and be
Right,
happy.
Right. But I never, it's like how? Like I never
dónde?
take the time to actually write something. Like, oh my God, you're this, I don't agree. Like, how dare you? Never. If they think that way, they might have their reasons for thinking that way. I don't agree with it, but I'm not going to take my time to like write nasty message. Like,
There's an unfollow
The most
button.
I'll do is I'll like
Right.
write it out, then I'll read it. I'm like, oh, I'm crazy, and then I'll just
Yeah,
You know?
That's happened to me a few times.
you got to think about it a little. Like, wait a minute, this is a little too much. Let me keep this to myself.
Yes.
Sometimes we have to do that. We have
Yeah.
to filter ourselves. It's
Just
And-
respond with happiness.
And remember that this is a world of abundance.
right.
Hay para todo el mundo.
That's true.
There is, you guys are podcasting. Next door, somebody might be podcasting. Buena suerte.
Yep.
Yeah.
You bought a nice house and somebody else wants. Amén.
Así.
Es un mundo
Aleluya.
de abundancia.
Así
Sí.
mismo.
Hay para todo el mundo.
I
Like,
love
la gente hits
it.
me up sometimes like, oh my God, where do you get your flan containers? Or yo le digo.
Yeah.
Lo que yo no lo de mi receta,
Yeah.
obviamente.
Right, right.
Pero le digo todo. Buy the labels here. Do it yourself.
Right.
Because why not?
Yeah, we spoke about it before. Like people think the money's gonna like disappear. Like you're gonna
No.
save all the money. Like there's
No.
money for everybody.
And
We're just
everybody-
printing more and more.
Yeah.
Right. and
Absolutely.
everybody has their own little touch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep,
It doesn't
absolutely.
matter. There's like millions of makeup artists, of photographers. They all have their little flavor and their own personality and their own little crowd that they're gonna attract. It's just
Because some people might not even buy your flan for the recipe, even though it's good. I've did a whole video on them.
oh yeah.
But like just you, like people like you, and
You.
they're like they want to support you. So like you can give somebody a recipe. That doesn't mean they're gonna take clients or even sell
Yeah.
it the way you do.
I don't really,
Yeah,
I don't mind.
but you're not getting the recipe.
Yeah.
Is that pumpkin dropping?
It's out already.
All right.
Ooh, miren, señores, I don't even eat flan. Pero el flan de Rosie yo me lo como.
Oh my God. We got to invite you guys over because there's more to me than just flan. Para que prueben mi sazón. Oh my
I'm
God.
sure it's good. I'm sure it's good. I'm telling you, I'm not saying that because they're here. Her flan is really, really good. You guys should definitely try
That's
it
my
if you
favorite
haven't.
dessert. So
Oh,
I vouch for it for sure.
Yes. Okay, I think this has been an amazing conversation.
oh my gosh.
If it's up to me, I think we would be here for 3 hours.
Bro, we have so
Yeah.
much in common.
We might invite you guys over for another podcast
That'd be
because
great.
this was great. But to close, I want to ask you this last question. What is your biggest fear? Answer separately. Rosie, what's your biggest fear in life?
My biggest fear
Mhm.
is leaving my kids behind, like going before Nick and leaving my kids behind.
That's the big
Everything
one.
I do, every day I wake up, I want to hustle harder so that the day I'm gone, they're okay. They're okay. Honestly,
Yeah.
that's my drive every day when I wake up.
Amen. What about you, Nick?
I mean, it's an easy one. It's the same thing, like just
Your kids?
my kids and Rosie.
Yeah.
You know, like I don't want to lose any of them
Yeah,
ever.
Yeah. That-
You know.
I can totally agree with
Like
that.
I'll lose everything else. I don't care. I just
Yeah.
won't
Yeah.
lose them.
Material things, they can always come back. But when you have your family,
That's yes. Oh my god.
yep.
Va a llorar.
I get choked up with that because it's true.
Yeah, yeah.
Like everything else you can replace.
Everything.
But can you
Everything.
replace the love, real love from people?
Especially when we sit around that dinner table and we're eating and we're watching Total Wipeout. That's what I
Nah,
mean,
it's-
nothing.
The floor is lava.
Oh, the floor is lava. Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah,
my
out
kids
today.
love that.
Yeah, the floor
Yeah.
is lava. We watch that when we have dinner. But I wouldn't replace that for nothing. Trade it for nothing in the world.
Nope.
For no lifestyle, for nothing.
I agree. 100%. 100%. And I know a lot of people, maybe some people who maybe haven't found love, listen to this and they're like, oh my God, like cringe. Like really? Like real
Yeah.
love, does it really exist? I've heard some people say things like that. And all I say is I pray. I pray for you to find love. because love is real.
Yeah, there's a person for everyone.
Real love is real. It does exist. Do not give up. And even if you don't find like now at this point in time your significant other, even with friends, like to have a true friend, like that is gold. Family too, that's there whenever you need them, you know, a cambio de nada, you know, that they don't ask for anything. Because there's some people who might be with you, but it's conditional. It's for something. They want something from you. And when you find people that are with you and that they support you from the heart and that they wish you no harm, there's nothing better than that.
Stop going into it like with the wrong perspective for the wrong reasons is what I wanted to say.
And again, it's not easy. It's hard. It's been years. It is kind of conditional in that I expect certain things from her. She expects certain things from me for sure.
Stay in the gym.
Yeah. When I graduated college, I was like, Rosie, you got to graduate because there's going to be a gap in us. So she went and she graduated. So we just, you know,
I mean, but you guys
together.
Right. But you guys are looking for each other's best interest. Yeah. That's different. You know, like, yes, you should have that type of condition because you don't want the other person to be dragging you down. Like you want to work as a team. You want to work in harmony.
Yep.
So in that way, yes, I guess there are certain conditions. Of course, I don't want someone who's dishonest, who's a liar, who's unloyal. Like, no, those things would definitely break it off for me. Like that's a deal breaker. But that's positive. That's positivity that you're pouring into the other person. You're helping them grow.
Yep. And that's something I learned with Rosie is that love is physical. It really is. Like, I love you, baby. And then I'm over here doing like stupidity, but I love you. I'm going to do these chores. I love you. Let's go out. I love you.
Yeah.
You know, all of these other things.
Yes, I love it.
Let's close it out right there.
Yes.
Rosie, so where can they find you guys if they want to?
Well, mi gente, I'm at Chef Rosie Batista and Nick.
He
don't even.
Her.
Yeah, just follow her.
Is that like across all platforms?
All platforms. At Chef Rosie Batista.
And her information will be linked in the description, so you guys can follow her. Thank you guys for joining
thank you for
us.
having us.
It was so much fun.
This is great.
Yes,
This was amazing. Thank you so much for being our first guest here at our studio.
Yeah, best
You
of
guys
luck.
blessed us.
No, best of luck to you guys. These guys put out, I mean, you've seen it, just amazing work, amazing
thank
quality.
you.
Like
when we got the text, I was like, hex yeah, we're going over there. Are you kidding me?
Thank you.
We're gonna
so
support you
much.
guys. And I wish that a lot of other people supported each other like this.
Yeah.
Because en vez de nada más decir, ay no, y esta. No, vamos as Latinos, as Hispanic, like let's help one another.
Right.
Let's support our friends, nuestro compañero. Like this is what we should be doing.
Absolutely.
I want to see a lot more of that.
For the right reasons, again, I repeat.
Yes. Okay, so that's it for today's podcast. Thank you so much for watching. If you're watching on YouTube, thank you so much for listening. Oh,
We're on Spotify.
by the way, we are on Spotify, so you guys can listen to this on Spotify from this point on. We're working on other platforms as well.
Apple and Google and everything. It's under review, so once they approve, everything will be up. But Spotify is live.
Yes.
Awesome.
Thank you so much for listening. Don't forget to leave your like, comment down below. Don't forget to hit the bell so you can be notified every time we post a podcast or a video. And that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching or listening.
Peace.
Bye. That was amazing. Great. It just flowed like
Seriously.
my face hurts from smiling so much.